Yeah.
Okay, cool. The internet was like,
Hey guys, welcome back to Stationary Muse channel. I am Tatiana and I thank you so much for joining me for the last episode of the Live Love Inspire series. I'm thinking about continuing this, you guys, but I don't know. We'll see. I've been getting asked a lot like, oh, is this going to keep going? So we'll see. You know, I am not the most comfortable on live, but I appreciate some of you that have been returning every week to support. It means so much. And the ladies that I'm bringing on this series, as I mentioned, are women that inspire me. You guys always tell me that I inspire you through the message that I share on my channel, and I think it's so important to see the people that build us up as women. And the woman that I have on here today to chat with you guys tonight, she is someone that I've been following for maybe a little over a year now. Her podcast has inspired me in so many ways that she'll never even know, just through her words and her encouragement for other women and creatives that want to just do their own thing and be their own person and feel that freedom. And that is what my message is all about. That is what I empower you guys to do. And so it is an honor to have this woman on here today. So I'm going to read her bio before I get all emotional. The fact that she even agreed to do this show, like, I am a super fan girl of hers. So I'm just so excited to be talking with her. So here's her bio. Jessica Lauren is passionate about helping goal getters ditch the excuses, do the work, and make ish happen. That's her intro of her podcast. She hosts a weekly podcast called The Sunday Jumpstart and runs a lifestyle blog called No Real Jewelry. When she's not typing away on her computer, you can find her on the couch, curled up with a good book, on Duolingo learning Spanish, or in her living room dancing to Beyonce on full blast. And y'all know we all love some Beyonce. If you don't love Beyonce, you might have to leave. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know. So without further ado, you guys, welcome Jessica.
Hey y'all, hey.
Hey.
Tatiana, girl, I love you. I've been a fan of yours for a year, so I am super girl fan
Oh,
and right back at you.
well, thank you so much. That means a lot. I think
Yeah.
it's so cool how, like, you'll follow somebody and you kind of like have them like on this pedestal just based off of like who they are and who they just the fact we've just been talking for the last like 10 minutes, it just brings it to reality, like, okay, she's a real person just like me. But it's just so cool to connect with people that encourage you. That's what I love about the internet. Love and hate, you know how that can be. But
Oh, child, it's a double-edged sword every time.
oh my
But please
goodness.
don't put me on a pedestal. You inspire me
No.
as well. I love watching the stationary Muse on YouTube. I'll be like, girl, yes, let's talk about stationary. I just love it all. So I'm excited too.
Thank you so much. So we got some
Yeah.
ladies in here. Hi, everybody that is joining us. Let us know, how was your week. I love to get you guys involved in the comments. Let us know how was your week, and we'll read some of what you guys are saying. Let me see. Oh, somebody said it wasn't working for the first 5 minutes. Now it's working. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear us?
Oh,
Can you guys hear us okay? Can you see us okay? It looks like people are saying, hey, Jessica, so I'm assuming we're good, but
oh hey.
just want to make sure. Okay. So the first question I really want to ask you, I always kind of start this off, is just to kind of get a feel for where you are mentally, emotionally. How are you feeling right now? How is your heart feeling?
Child, I'm tired. I am tired. So, I work for a semicolon bookstore here in Chicago, and it is a black, like the only black woman-owned bookstore here in the city. So, with everything that's going on, we went viral in the past few weeks. Like Martha Stewart, Katie Couric, just
Oh
everybody
my
and their
gosh.
mama, like put us on, which has been a blessing. We've been blessed with so many orders, but that switched us from working, like 6 hours a day to like 16 to 18 hours days. And my boss was like, listen, we need to get away and take a breather. So she surprised us with a road trip to Detroit. And we just got back a few hours ago. And sure enough, we get to the store and there's literally 200 boxes of books. All the books about white supremacy and just all of that jazz have been on back order since May, and they all
Yeah.
arrived today. So I'm a little burnt out and tired, but in the same breath, I also feel restored. It was nice to go back home. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, so it was just cool to see my sister really quickly and just kick it. And now we back in the trenches. We probably gonna be here till midnight doing all of that, but it's a good blessing to have. So I'm tired in a good way.
Oh my goodness. That is a lot. I can imagine it's probably like you feeling good off the high of the trip and then you're like, oh,
Oh yeah,
okay. This is what's happening
absolutely.
today. Okay. Very rude
So we just
awakening.
gotta. Oh, we're making it. We got a ton of coffee and we playing music and talking to you. We are multitasking at its finest right now, so I
Yeah.
can't complain.
Well, I appreciate you being here because, yeah, I know you are probably exhausted right now, but you are not even showing it. So just thank you again for
Oh,
that.
thank you.
We got a couple people saying how their week went. Joya said, oh my gosh, glad the week is over. Girl, who are you telling? This week, yesterday was my day where I'm like, okay, it needs to be Saturday morning right now.
Saturday already. Yes.
And then
Yes.
by me, Monique, she said she loves your podcast as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Monique.
And she said her week is crazy. Glad it's winding down. Oh, and then somebody, I
Yes.
think you might know this person, Tequila Boy. She
Hey,
said, my
Stevie.
Jesse. Oh, hey,
That's my
Tequila.
best
Thanks for
friend.
joining
Your
us.
best friend. That's my best friend. Thank you.
All right. Well, everybody, yeah, keep commenting. Let us know how your week was. It's interesting. I think we all are kind of going through just so many different emotions right now. From one moment to the next, I'm happy, then I'm sad, and you know how all of that goes. But I really want this to be a place for us to come and connect and get inspired just for this little time here on the internet, to just escape some of the negativity or just anything you're dealing with, even outside of the media, just personal
Right.
life in general. So I hope you guys get encouraged through talking with Jessica today. Hey, Jaleesa. Okay, so the first question I wanted to ask you is, and I really am excited to hear what you do because I love following you on Instagram. Your morning routine looks like it is legit. Like you have it every time you be posting, I'd be like, okay, her morning routine is
What
perfect.
app is
Like,
that?
what
What?
is that?
Oh yeah. I had to get super serious about my morning routine. I have been going to therapy consistently for about 2 years now. And the one thing that's kept me like super grounded is just having spiritual practices, is what me and my therapist calls it. And so in the morning, first thing I put on, I use the Insight Timer app, and they have a ton of guided meditations on there. I put on one of them and I just zen out. I just try to breathe, because first thing when I wake up in the morning and my feet hit the ground, I'm already being attacked with anxiety. Already like, okay, what bill got to be paid today? Do I got to go to work? When I'm getting my
Yeah.
nails done? It's just the
Yes.
dumbest stuff is already coming for me. So I put that on. I'll breathe for a little bit. And the guided meditations inside Insight Timer are no joke. They have some from just a wide variety. I listen to one all the time about pursuing your dreams. It's one about being present now. Like you have everything you need now in this moment, which feels crazy to even think about, because we just always are worried about what's lacking, what I got to do, what I need to feel, da da da. And to have that
Yeah.
practice of just like everything I need is right here helps. And so I do that, and then I might grab my devotional and just read a few scriptures, have my coffee. I try not to get on my phone. I try not to get on YouTube. Y'all, I'm a
It's
big
hard though.
YouTube gossip channel person. I love just learning the tea.
Do
So I
you
just try
watch
not to get
daytime
on
tea
my
time?
phone. Huh?
Do you watch
No,
daytime tea
I
time?
watch. Girl, I listen to Here for the Tea, Spill
Okay,
Sesh,
okay.
Viewer's Choice, all of that. So my mornings are super sacred, and I'm gonna be 1,000%. I don't do it every morning, but you could tell the mornings I do not do it because I am grumpy. I'm more anxious than I need to be. And I love documenting it to share it. I think
Yeah.
as Black women, I must just speak for myself. As a Black woman that grew up in church, meditation feels a little like, ooh, what you doing, girl? Don't do that. It's like, actually, it's just about taking a breath and just connecting to God or yourself. So it's been tremendously helpful, and I try to share it to help other people do it too.
I love that. Yeah, well, you be making me feel like, dang, my morning is not what it need to be. Like every time I see it. But so I have a question about the meditation thing because I have tried it in the past. I actually tried the Insight Timer because of you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, how are you able to turn off all those distractions of like the bill, the things you got to do during the day to actually focus for that like 10, 15 minutes. Because that's been my issue. I don't know about y'all, but like I cannot turn it off. Like I'm too busy thinking about the next thing instead of like actually listening to the guided meditation.
The meditation. That's
Yeah.
an interesting question. If you think of your brain like your toddler or your new puppy, you
Yeah.
have to redirect it. Baby girl, get out that, get out that plant. Stop eating your food like that. Come back. And that's really what meditation is. It's just like, okay, for these 5 minutes, this 1 minute, I don't ever try to do the meditations that's an hour, 20 minutes. They're
Mm.
all between 1 and maybe 10 minutes tops. And I'll just sit there. I'll try to follow it. If my brain goes away, it goes away. And then I'm like, hey, girl, come back.
Come
We
on
still got to
back.
focus. And you just redirect it. And it's not about perfectly tuning out and zenning out. It honestly helps highlight some of those feelings like, you know what? Why am I anxious? Okay, the bills. Okay, cool. I'm going to get to that once we wake up. But right now, I have to be just present in this moment. That's all I'm asking for you is for these 3 minutes is to try to listen. And if she wanders off, you're just like, hey, shawty, come back. And she'll come back. And that's it. And if you get rid of that pressure to like, oh, I need to listen to this fully, you'll enjoy the experience more. It's not about just like, I was completely in a different world. Nah, it's like I'm just teaching my brain, no matter what is going on, you have the right to center back. Like that's a gift to you,
Yeah.
and you can own it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that.
tell it to come back.
Yeah, that's some good advice. Well, at least it's good to know that it's not like you're literally just like if you feel yourself drifting, you're able
Oh
to like.
no,
Because I'd be like,
no.
how do people do that? They be sitting there like,
No. And that's why I like guided meditation so much because the teacher will often say, like, if a thought pops up, have the thought. Don't judge yourself like, dang, there you go. You're supposed to be focused. Why you distracted? No, it's just like, oh, snap, I hear you. Okay, cool. Let's focus back. And
right.
that's really how life should be. Like, life be throwing us curveballs and it can knock the wind out of our sails, right?
Yeah.
But at some point, you have to be like, okay, I got to keep on moving. And that's essentially what you're doing in meditation.
Okay. Thank you for the word, real quick though. Like for real. Okay, wait. Let me see. We got a girl in a pearl. She said part of the week was productive for her. Part of the week was rough, but this was a great way to end the week with my southern cooking takeout. Okay, all right. I love soul food, southern food, all that. That sounds so good. Hey, Ashley. She said, I had learned to focus on my breathing and I would repeat the meditation. Redirection is key. Yes, I'm learning that now. I'm going to have to try this meditation, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, Girl in the Pearl, she said, I love gospel channel. She also loves that tea spill. I need to check that out. I've never heard of that one before.
Tea spill.
But she commits the first hour of the day with no phone. I don't know how y'all do the no phone thing. It's so much easier said than done, but like, I need to get on that bandwagon for real.
Please do.
Oh my gosh. So many people in the comments. Mine going a million miles a minute. Yes. In the morning for sure. I find myself going a different direction. Focus back. Yes. Everybody's on the same page. So the next thing I wanted to ask you, just kind of like piggybacking off of that, because to me it seems like if you're doing that morning routine and you said like you can tell when you do it, when you don't do it, would you feel like that's a part of like self-love for you? Is that a way that you show up for yourself? Like mentally and emotionally to be able to get through the rest of the day that what you have going on?
Absolutely. What I've been learning, especially during COVID, is that I kind of have to parent myself because if I don't, I'm like a toddler again, just like I feel this way and I'm offended by this and this person did, like I'm just kind of all over the place. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I can't like burn out like that every single day.
Right.
So that whole morning routine where it's like, Jessica, no phone. Jessica, make your bed. Jessica, sit down and read for 15 minutes. It really is honoring my needs first. Like in order for me to feel like I'm helping other people or being my best self, I have to like fill me up first. And if I don't, I am a mess. I'm a people pleaser. I'm just doing things because I feel obligated. I'm super reactionary. I live in Chicago. People drive crazy and I be cussing them out. And it's just like, wait a minute, let's not do all of that. Again, not perfect, but when I do those practices, it helps me just remember like, oh yeah, my intention this morning was to not let anything rattle me. Why is them not, using their blinker rattling me that much? Let it go. You know what I mean? And that's when I can do it. I don't always get to, but having that just kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day. And it is self-love because if I don't do it, again, I'm saying yes when I want to say no. I'm not eating properly. I'm not, like it's a trickle effect. And I just try to stick to it to avoid all of that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that it does, like you said, it's a trickle effect. If you start the day off
Yeah.
rough, then it might just start to slowly go throughout the day. That is so true. And I also think I feel like
Yeah.
the different like ideas and stuff that we put in our head can also subconsciously affect our day as well. We may
Oh,
not even
yeah.
realize it, or life in
Yeah.
general, honestly.
And yeah, seriously. And one thing I do want to say about morning routine, that sounds long, right? It sounds like I got to do 1 through 10 in this routine, but a routine be like brushing my teeth, do these affirmations really quickly, or when I have a cup of tea on my phone. Like it doesn't have to be super regimented, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
you could
yeah.
remix it day in and day out.
Definitely. And what do some of you guys do for your morning routine? Do you guys meditate? Do you have a devotional? Do you pray? What are some things like I'm trying to get mine together. Like I thought I had mine together, and then COVID happened, and then my husband was here with me, and then it just got strange because now he in there snoring, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
get my thing. Like it just threw me off. So like I'm like all over the place. So I would love to hear all of you guys' morning routine ideas for sure. And
Yeah.
so one question I did want to ask you, because you did bring up kind of like knowing how to say yes, knowing how to say no based off of that. How do you just kind of in your womanhood right now, where you are, what you've been through, how are you able to decipher when you need to say yes to somebody, to say no? How are you able to not feel bad about it? Or
Yeah.
what is that process like for you?
You know what I've been doing? I'm an automatic yeser. Like, Jessica, I got 60 loads of trash. Can you take it all out? Yes. Can you babysit my 7 kids 7 days a week? Yes. Can I borrow $1 million? Yes. And it's like, after all that's said and done, I done gave $1 million away. I'm rolling in trash. I'm watching 7 kids 7 times a day. I'm not happy. I'm pissed off at you, but I won't tell you. So it's like, just pause. You don't have to give a yes automatically. Just sit down for a minute, give it
Yeah.
24 hours, give it 48 hours. And that's really been helping me. I've just been like, you know what, can I think on that? And people do be looking like, damn, I mean, I want a yes or a no, but I have to be like, give me a second to think on it. And I have this rubric. I wish I remembered it by heart, but I got this from Lovey. She's the author of I'm Judging You, and I don't want to butcher her last name. Lovey Ajay, is that how you say it?
I feel like I know who you're talking
Anyway,
about. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. She has this thing where she's just like, these are the 5 markers that I need to hit in order for me to say yes. And her goal is to only get 3 out of the 5. The number one thing was like, will this honestly give me joy? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is this something fun I actually want to do? And that half the time be like, no, I don't want to go to no club. I don't want to go. No, I don't want to do that. The second one was like, and this is for us that are content creators or entrepreneurs. Will it open me up to a bigger and more elevated audience? The third one was something like, will it expand my portfolio? Number 4, will it build, like it was just like these standards that she goes by. And so for me, I kind of borrowed some of that. Like, 2 weeks from now, will I still be happy that I said yes?
Mm-hmm.
No. You know what I mean? Like, no. And so I just made up my own little list of standards. Like, will it bring me joy? 2 weeks from now, when I'm in the weeds, when I'm stressed out, I didn't have enough sleep, I'm at work, will I still be happy that I said yes?
Mm-hmm.
Um, will it pay my fee? Like, can a sister get paid up in here? Like, will it respect my time? You know what I mean? So I think having that rubric already set up in your mind, you won't have to be stuck in it like, oh no, should I? Like, can people spend a night at my house? Like those questions you should already ask like have the answer in your head. So when somebody pops up and asks you, you're like, oh no. With money, can I borrow money, girl? Oh no, because I've already said in my mind I don't lend money. Or if I do, I can only lend out $50. Like, so
Yeah.
just make those standards up so that you're not in a pickle. Press pause before you say yes. Like, just don't give yourself 24 hours. Like,
I
I'm not
really
doing all of
like
that.
that. Yeah.
Right? Just sit on your hands until then. And then with those no's, child, I'm still learning how to say no. And no, no just looks like a lot like, oh, thank you so much. I'm flattered, but not at this time. And what I've learned with doing it kind of like that, people will do this. Well, what about the fifth? Or what about the 10th? Or
Mm,
I cleared my schedule. Da, da, da. So now I'm learning to let your no's be no's, like to literally just be like, no. And that
yeah.
is the hardest thing because we want to give excuses. We want to be like, I would, but I could. It's like, no, because other people will try to reschedule your life or they'll try to come up with a solution. So now I've been challenging myself to just be like, nope. No,
No,
can't.
the Rashida last week, she was like, nope, period. Like there's no
Nope.
extra.
Period. That's it. And you feel bad, but it's like, why would I feel bad for telling somebody the truth? I don't want to do it. Or no, I'm not available.
Yeah.
And the thing, we know that feelings are always fleeting. Like that uncomfortableness will go away in 10 minutes. Like just give yourself 10 minutes to feel bad and then enjoy the rest of your day because you said no.
I think my favorite part of that, I liked everything. Y'all definitely, if somebody knows the name of that book from Lovey, please comment because I want to check
Yeah,
that
it's
out.
called it's called I'm not or I am judging you
I am judging
by
you.
Lovey. But I can't remember. I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
But I like how you said to take a pause because I think that's the one thing. Like when someone asks you something, it automatically creates this urgency. Like you have to answer right then. It's okay to be like, let me think on it. I'll get back to you. Even if you know you're
Yep.
going to say no, maybe they'll think you, maybe they'll think you
Yeah.
care a little bit more or something. But
Yep.
that's really
And then
good.
I try to extend that same energy when I have a request of somebody, like, don't put no fire under them. Like, let's honor each other's time and
Definitely.
ask of each other.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I agree. So there's a little bit of a lag on the live. So some people are sharing morning routine stuff. I'll briefly just go
Oh,
through.
cool.
My sister is on here, Tia. She said she walks her
Hey,
dog.
sister.
She works out, makes breakfast, and then she's off to work. See, I'm working out. That's another thing that I'm not doing, y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, some people are working on night routines. I didn't even. I tried to do the night routine. I had like this little skincare routine, but the fact that I go to bed, I be so tired. I don't be feeling like doing none
You
of that.
pass out.
But that's
Yeah.
true. I mean, it's good to end your day with something positive as well. That
Oh,
is really
yeah.
good.
Yep.
Open the blinds, feed the fish, dogs, make breakfast, shower, skincare, make the bed, review my planner. Okay, girl with a pro, you got like a whole little lineup. I
She
like
got a
that.
list.
Right. I love the open the blinds. It's like very movie esque. If you guys know,
Oh,
Jessica's an
it
actress
is.
as well. So,
Hey. Hey.
up at 3:30. Oh my gosh. Make coffee, sit on my back porch, sipping coffee, listening to nature, small prayer, deep breaths. Okay, you guys have very intense morning routines. I'm gonna come back and take some notes on this for sure. But no, I like literally love all of what you had to say, and I think that as women, that is so hard for us to be able to say no to people. So I just think that this question is just so important for everybody because there's just that pressure that we may not even know is there
Yep.
because we wear so many hats. So
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with that. So I wanted to ask you. I recently kind of caught up on your podcast. I was behind in my podcast for a little bit, and the other day I listened to your episode. It was called "Am I Doing Enough?" And
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
guys are not following the Sunday Jumpstart podcast, if you're not in podcast in general, you guys can start listening. It's like so perfect for just like if you're driving, you're working, just something in your
Yeah.
background. Like I love it, and especially when it's something inspirational. But Jessica uploads hers every Sunday, right? Every Sunday,
Yes.
yes.
Sundays and Wednesdays. Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, because you got the weekly quick tip.
Like quick tips.
Yeah,
Quick
yeah.
tip. Yeah.
I love it. But I always listen on Monday mornings for some reason. But
A lot of
it's
people do.
they
A
do,
lot of people do.
they
Yeah,
do. And
yeah.
the episode was just so good. I'll let you talk more about it, but I just really like that you're basically just putting it in reality that we all kind of feel like we question where we are in our lives based on the standards of society. And I know that I deal with that all the time. Do any of you guys deal with that in the comments? Like, this is so important. So I would love if you could just expand on it a little bit, even give us like a little mini version of it. Like, what are just some gems you can drop about this "Am I Doing Enough" thing? Because I loved that episode so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
the episode was called Am I Doing Enough? And I had just marked my 5-year anniversary of running my blog and my business. And I was about to celebrate, but then I started being like, well, dang, I didn't do X, Y, and Z. Like, is that even celebratory? We just have these arbitrary milestones that we think we're supposed to hit. And it was just like, gosh, how could you like let that negativity steal that celebration from you just because you don't have 1 million followers or you haven't made $1 million in a month and I was just like, I'm done with that. And even in my personal life, I'm gonna be transparent. I'm 35, never been married, never owned a home, never had kids. Like I'm way behind, but it's like by whose standard? Like
Yeah.
I've always kind of been like a late bloomer, quote unquote. But what the heck is a fast bloomer? Like why we have to learn how to just bloom in our own space. And it's like, yeah, I don't have all those things, but I've been fortunate enough to travel around the world due to my acting career. I've been on tour, so instead of beating myself up about like, I'm not married, I don't have kids, it's just like life doesn't end at 25, 30,
Say it again.
35, 40, but we think it does. And it's just like, if we can get super focused on just like our lives and what brings meaning to that for us, then it doesn't matter what Shanae across the street is doing because we're so content in what's happening in our lives. But that takes some intense intentionality to be able to do that. Like I'm not looking at nobody else's grass, especially with social media.
Oh, yeah.
People are constantly like, oh my gosh, I just launched my magazine. Oh my God, I just made $50 million tying my shoe. And it's just like, what? I'm trying to get 100 likes over here. Like, what's going on? But you have to know what enough means for you. Like, what is your enough? I have a good girlfriend. It just was so awesome to see this. She was like, y'all, I've been a year in the podcasting game. This was my stats a year ago. It was 1,000 downloads, and then today was 4,000. And I was just like, gosh, that's such a perspective. Like that's so awesome because I'd be like, I only got 20,000 downloads this week. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and she was literally taking the time out to just be like, oh, that's so awesome. And I'm over here complaining about the tens of that. Like it's just so silly. Like, so we have to decide like what is my enough. And in that episode, I created a worksheet where it's like, what is enough money for Tatiana? Like seriously, if she wasn't looking at what the other planner girls are doing, what does Tatiana need to feel enough in her family and her marriage? Like what is that? And if we could answer that, I think that would really cut down on a lot of that comparison mess we got going on, right? If you just knew like, I don't need all that. When I get like, I think we all on Instagram are like, I just want more followers, more followers. Child, them little 4,000 I got. When I post something, like if I post this, where you get that from? How, what, it's like, oh my God. I love it, but can you imagine? It's like, that's enough for me now. That's
Right.
all I
Like
can
times
handle right now.
10,000 or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're complaining about stuff we're not even equipped for yet. And it's like, you have to hit those milestones to get the more, but first you have to figure out what enough is, right?
Yeah. I like the question you said, what is my enough?
What is my
I like
enough?
y'all. That's one of the words from from tonight.
What is
I
my
love
enough?
that.
Yeah.
That is something that I struggle with a lot. I know I'm not the only one, but it's like social media just brings this side out of us that we don't even realize. I remember when I turned 25, I had like these expectations of what I thought I would be doing at 25 years old. I thought I would be in the career, making all this money. I had bought my own car, like all these things that I just put on myself just because other people are doing it, because I'm
Other people are
seeing
doing
them.
it.
And like that's why I'm kind of jealous of like my parents' age and even my grandparents, because like they didn't have to see all these folks what they doing. They was worried about themselves.
Oh, they got to
Oh my
mind their
gosh. Right,
business.
minding yo.
Oh, I
Thank you.
miss that so much.
And it's like now you can't help but be in everybody's business.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
It's a
goodness.
gift and a curse. It really is. And I think that's why you have to have those limitations set so that you're not just constantly comparing yourself.
Definitely. I love the episode. You guys have to go listen to that one. She has so many encouraging ones. There's another one I loved
Thank you.
about like dreaming not like your wildest dreams. That was another
Oh,
one of my favorites. Like I
yeah.
have like my top 5, but
Oh,
yes, there are some really
yes.
good ones. So definitely check it out. But let me see. Some people are saying no can be beneficial to you in your mental health. Don't feel guilty. No is a complete sentence. I've been hearing that throughout this whole series.
Oh, yeah. It
Daily
really
devotion.
is.
Oh, my mom said I just said no today. It felt good. Oh, you got to tell me
I
what happened with
feel
that
good. Yeah.
girl. We have to remember that society does not dictate our destiny. Yes. Preach.
Good one.
Somebody said preach. Jaleesa said preach. My
Great.
grandmother's on here. She said, I also think that the pandemic has put everything into perspective for us. I kind of feel like that. Do you feel like you've kind of shifted how you looked at things since all of that has happened, or all of this is going on?
Absolutely. Like my stepfather actually had COVID, and that
Oh
was
yeah, I remember you.
crazy to go through. And I growing up, my dad left, my mom raised three kids by herself, and when my stepdad came in my life, I was already 15. And my mom and I kind of were partners. Like I helped her raise those kids and all of that. So when he came, I was like, "Who are you? You're not my daddy." Da, da, da. And we've made amends now, as adults, but I could definitely call him more, talk to him more, be more intentional in our relationship. The second he got sick, I was like, "What, girl? Let's cherish our people. Let's love on them more."
Yeah.
And so with that, for sure, just having to see somebody have it, and my stepdad lives with my mom and my sister and my brother. It was like my entire family. It was at home and in Detroit, which was one of the empires for COVID. So it was scary, but it just made me realize like none of this stuff that we be stressed about really do not matter. I wasn't worried about bills for once. I wasn't worried about nothing, but just like, gosh, I just really got to do a better job of loving on my people and not stressing, because like he was
Yes.
ill. He's doing better now. He's fully recovered. But it
That's
just made
wonderful.
me, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Just like stop stressing. Everything's gonna work out. You're gonna be covered. When we had a lockdown in Chicago that day, two of my biggest freelancing jobs was like, well, that's it. You ain't working here no more. And it was like, what? The next day, God blessed me with another job. Like it was literally like, it may feel crazy, it may look like crazy, but I got you. Like I really do.
Yeah.
And I haven't wanted for nothing. I've had so much peace in the midst of this craziness that it's like, if we could get through this, I could get through anything. So it definitely has shifted just like what matters. Like if you got your health, you're fine. You know what I mean? Like all that other stuff is gonna work out. So that's been my biggest takeaway from Corona 2020.
Oh my, yeah, this year, can we end it? I mean, like it's been so many positives that have come out of it, but at the same time it's just like it feels
It's a
like this
lot.
ongoing just now what's going to happen next kind of
Yeah, it
thing. Like,
does feel like that.
yeah.
Like when is the other shoe gonna drop? And that's not fun to live
Right.
with.
Exactly. Um, let's see. Ashley said, I had to learn to make it about remembering my why. Even with my YouTube channel, just pacing myself and doing what I enjoy that brings organic support is so stressful thinking about keeping up. Yes. Y'all, this YouTube channel thing is, I've been on here for like 4 years now, and it's a very slow and steady race.
Yeah,
And back to your point of just like you see all these other people where it feels like overnight they just like blew up,
blew
and you think
up.
like, what am
Yeah,
I doing wrong? Like
nothing,
it's crazy.
nothing.
Yeah, everybody agrees I had to let it go, still make goals for myself, but I know supporters won't dictate the greatness I already have. I love that. I had to start saying no when I realized saying yes was becoming detrimental to myself and my kids. And then that is why my nugget of freedom was today. There's a lot of bloopers this year, but it makes the final cut that much better. Oh, I love that,
That's
Ashley.
right.
Yeah,
That's
Ashley in here.
good.
Okay, Ashley dropping some gems in the
Poetic.
comments. Well, she is like a writer, so I mean, I
Oh,
guess
that's awesome.
yeah, she is.
I love that. You know what? I don't know if you guys noticed, but you were talking about being on YouTube for 4 years and all of that jazz. So I graduated from college in 2006 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts, right? I graduated from a top program, got my agent. So I'm like, all right, I went to high school for acting, childhood, all of that. So I graduate, get my degree. I'm like, come on, Denzel, come on, Meryl, let's act. Well, I didn't book my first gig until 2015. So from 2006 to 2015, I was auditioning 3 to 4 times a week. I was getting to the callbacks. That's when it gets narrowed down between, they take it from like 100 girls down to maybe you and another nine. Then after that, you get put on hold, and that's when it's between you and another person. I would be on hold for everything. I'm talking Hunger Games, Empire, anything filmed in Chicago, I was on hold for it. And then I'm like, all right. And this the bold part. They be like, this who you gonna be acting with. This how much money it be zeros, okay? So you're really like, like I'm finally here. Every time you've been released, that's when
Oh
your
my
agent calls and
gosh.
like, you ain't got it. And I had to deal with that for 9 years. And in 2015, I was like, why am I waiting on somebody else to give me permission to create? So that's where the blog came from. I was like, if I want to do print, I'm gonna take my own pictures. If I want to write, I'm gonna write. Da, da, da. And from 2015 to 20 whatever this year is, my dream my dreams pivoted. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so grateful that I had that acting career because it taught me how to do a podcast and all of that. But I didn't know that there was a photographer inside of me, a businesswoman, a podcaster, a public speaker. Like, all of that blossomed from me getting so many no's and from me being on this journey of 9 years. The minute I created my own stuff, I started booking left and right, left and right.
Wow.
It was incredible. And what I realized was like, on the blog, I got really transparent about mental health. And this was like back in 2015, before we were talking about it like we are now, like about
Yeah.
self-care and self-love. It wasn't like that. And so people, black women, was like, tell me more. I was really vocal about therapy and blah, blah, blah. And I just realized, like, gosh, this is so much fulfilling, is helping other women out than being on stage. And so if you're ever like, dang, this is my 5th year doing that, keep going, keep going. Even if the YouTube doesn't blow up or something else is going to be etched out from that, if you just keep following that dream. And I still feel like I use my acting chops, but now I feel like I'm working in my purpose. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
and I wouldn't have been in my purpose if I didn't go through 9 years of no's, if
Oh gosh.
no bookings, no, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So keep going. If I could do it for 9 years, you got one more, two more in you, and God will definitely pivot you if you're okay with giving up. We're always like, losers never win, quitters
Yes.
never win, da da
Yes.
da. But I was just like, that's not work. I'm not asking for permission anymore. That was me quitting. But in that, I took my power back. So if you're doing that, is it enough? I've been doing this too long. Take all of that off and do what really feels right for you and what feels purposeful and what's fun. I think we talk a lot about purpose and destiny, but also
Yeah.
what the heck is fun for you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
brings joy? Follow that curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Take notes of like what shows are piquing your interest, what books, what music. Those are all clues, but you got to be quiet to hear it. And that's why meditation is good. And that's why just taking social media breaks is good too, because we see so much of what everybody else is doing. It's hard to see your own vision. So that's why,
Mm-hmm.
Tatiana, I be up. I be on Instagram hard for like 2 days, then I'm gone for 2 months because I gotta hear myself think.
Yeah, I would love that though. It's like, don't let nobody
Yeah.
pressure you into being
Mm-mm.
regularly on there. And oh,
No, no. So just keep going, y'all. Keep going.
I I love that. Well, it was actually because you said something in that episode, and you were like, you felt almost like because it was something you were good at, and you did it for so long that you felt like you were failing or like you gave
Oh
up.
yeah.
And I can relate that so much because I was a singer, and
Oh,
I
I
sung.
love
Yeah, I sung like all through my childhood. I went to school for music, all that stuff. And I have a very similar situation to you where like it just did not
Yep.
work out. It just fell through.
Yep.
And it's like this under misunderstood reason of why I feel like I failed, even though I have so many other interests now. There's so many things that I
Exactly.
love more than that, but I feel
Hmm.
guilty that that's not what I ended up doing. It's just such a
Right.
weird feeling.
Well, because you invest so much. I think when you do something since you were a child, you
Yeah.
invested your entire life to this thing. But I think when you get pigeonholed into theater or dance or singing or whatever that thing, your thing is,
Yeah.
you limit we're three-dimensional people, and you being just a singer wasn't it. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it was more to it, but you wouldn't have discovered it without the failure. So I just always try to tell myself I'm three-dimensional.
I love that. Let me see. Ashley said, "Come on, no one else has to give you permission to create." I love that. You like literally everything that you said is a quote, basically.
Thank you.
And then a girl in a pearl said, "Our blessings come to us when we start trying to do it our way and wait for God to show us the way." That's what
Yeah,
I've been learning in this season. Is just that sometimes our plan just is not the way it's gonna
it's
go.
just that.
But it's
Yeah.
gonna be even better than what we planned. And
Yeah.
that really brings me to my next question for you because you have created such this amazing inspirational platform. Like I said at the beginning of this, you've encouraged me just like I'm sure you've encouraged so many other women to go for
Oh, girl.
things and just get out of their own head. And so let us know, like, I know, how do you inspire others and what is your mission that you carry out every day? Like when you get up in the morning and you do what you're set out to do, what does that look like? What is in your mind when you reach out to people?
Yeah, I think it really is that creating your own yes, not waiting for anybody to give you permission, and to really ditch the excuses. The podcast, the blog, anything I'm doing is always gearing towards telling women specifically to just do it.
Yeah.
My mom, she is a baker. Like she, just makes cookies, whatever. And she's really trying to make it into business.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, you think I should take this class and this class? And I signed up for this and this workshop. And how'd you do this? And I'd be like, Mama, just do it. I do recognize though that she's from a different generation or
Hmm.
whatever. I feel like millennials, we'd be like, listen, I'm about to do it. But that really is my goal, is just to let women know, like, we just gotta do it. Just feel it, go for it, do your best work. Turn that inner critic down a little bit, and just go after the thing that keeps you up at night, the thing that makes you super happy. That's my goal, is just to, because that's what happened for me. It was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Nobody's laying down the foundation. I'm just going. And it really turned into like one of the biggest blessings in my life. So that is the mission.
Yeah, I love that. Well, you definitely are doing that with me, so I
Oh, thank
appreciate
you.
you
And
so much.
likewise, you do that
Oh.
for me too, girl.
Oh, Veronica, she said, yes, I thought I was going to corporate America, got there and said goodbye very quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we all, like, people think they're going to be a lawyer all this time, and then it just, like, it's so many things like that.
Yeah.
We have an edge and a desire that just pushes us out. They're scared, nervous, unsure. Just do it. I told myself years ago, I don't want to hit 70 and have regrets about what I didn't try. That is so
Yeah.
true. Yeah, it's like,
That's true.
what's the worst that could happen?
Nothing.
Right. So
Nothing.
what piece of advice would you give to any woman on here that is wanting to put herself out there, whether she wants to start a business or just anything that would require her to put herself out there, but she is kind of doubtful and just in her own head? What are some pieces of advice or some actions that they can take to kind of get out of that?
Um, I think you were kind of hinting at it a little bit just now, actually, is just following the fear through. Like, if you sit down and you're like, okay, I think I want to start a YouTube channel, but then the fear comes up, like, well, what if you don't get a ton of followers? If you answer that question, if you're like, all right, if I only get 10 followers and 10 people watch it, and then you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? If you can follow the fear through, like, I told myself in 2019, it was like, I want to try to be a full-time business person. So I stopped accepting a lot of work. I just like scaled my life down. It was like, what's the worst that could happen? Well, the worst that could happen, I stopped making not a ton of money, but I stopped making some money. Okay, cool. Then what could happen? Well, maybe, I might lose my apartment. Okay, then what would happen after that? I would have to move back in with my mom. That's not the worst. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
some of the stuff we're afraid. I would have been uncomfortable. It would have been embarrassing, but I wouldn't have died. You know what I mean? Like, so if you can follow that fear through, you half the times you'll realize like it's not even that serious. But the thing is that fear is never going to leave your side. Each level you go to is still going to be there. So you really have to just kind of get used to feeling uncomfortable and being okay, being a
Yeah.
beginner
Yeah.
and being okay, making mistakes and being embarrassed and only having two downloads or one,
Yeah.
it's okay. And I'm always just like, everybody started somewhere. And I used to work for Nickelodeon, and I got to be
Oh,
around a
cool.
ton. Yeah, I used to be around a ton of celebrities or executives. Don't nobody know what they doing. That's like, when you see that, you be like, oh, everybody's janky. Oh, everybody's learning. Oh, everybody doesn't have the answers. Then you're like, I'm in good company if I don't know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Or if one of
Yeah.
my favorite podcasts is How I Built That. And
Mm.
that's when they just talk to, the lady that made Spanx or the person that made the Ring doorbell. And they made $1 million mistakes. So when I mess up and make a $500 mistake, I'll be like, I'm in good company. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay. So follow the fear through to the worst case scenario, and you realize it's not that bad. And then just realize, like, if you kind of messing up, you're in good company. You know what I mean? Like, read Steve Jobs' story or Beyonce. Just read the people that inspire you. If they're honest, they'll be like, I didn't know what I'm doing. I'm kind of messing up too. No,
It
seriously. Like,
helps a lot though to know that.
if God,
Oh no.
sis, you can, like, the limit. Go ahead and do you. So Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. My mom, she has her own bakery business, and she said to
Oh,
she wanted to tell your mom to just do it. She said, I did tell her to get out of her own way. Oh, that's really
yep.
sweet. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Mama. That's
Yes,
really sweet. I
definitely.
tell her all the time, like, girl, just bake the cookies. She be like, what license? What? Girl.
Oh my gosh, but that is so true that like even as I've gotten older, because like the people that you grow up with, like the women in your life, your mom, your grandmother, you look at them, at least I did, I looked at them as perfect, which I still feel like they're perfection. But you, as you get
Yeah.
older, you learn that like they're learning just like you are. They don't 100% know what they're doing. So it's just, we're all trying to figure it out. So that is such a good point for sure.
Yeah. And if I worked in schools for years, right? And I was in preschool classes, and I'd be like, gosh, when that baby falls or trips, they're not like, look at me, I'm a fit. They just get back up. Like they're
Right.
just like, and letting their curiosity lead them like, oh, I want to read this book. Nope, I don't want to read it no more. I'm hungry. Nope, I'm not hungry no more. Oops, I fell up. Ooh, I'm acting a fool. I'm crying. And they just get back up with that grace that
Mm-hmm.
they've given themselves. And if we can live like children, I think we'd be straight, just
Yes.
like and here's the thing. This was a revelation for me. It's like if Siri and Google Maps can redirect me in my life if I make a mistake, like if I make a wrong turn, why couldn't God do that same thing for me? Like if I'm like, well, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur this year and it
Mm-hmm.
fails, don't you think God will redirect all of that? Like
You
it's
will. Yeah.
okay. Easier said than done because I was panicked, I was broke, like I
Right.
don't make I'm making it sound like, oh, it's just, but at the end of the day, after the smoke clears, it really is like just do it.
Right, just do it.
Yeah.
Joya, she said she's actually listening to Yes by Shonda Rhimes. I need to read that or listen to
Oh yeah,
it.
that's a fun book.
She
Yeah.
said it's so true. Hearing her story is really like you just have to do it. And then a girl with a pearl said I sold cheesecakes from my kitchen for the first 2 years of grad school just because I
That's
liked baking
awesome.
and people wanted to pay me for them. That's how a lot of businesses start. Just kind of falls in your lap. You're like, okay, I guess this is a thing now. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool. So I wanted to ask, like,
yeah.
what are some new things you're working on? Like, what you have a big project or anything you want to share, or just share with us. Like, what are all the things you got going on coming up?
Yeah, so once everything settles with the bookstore, once we get all those orders out, I actually created a podcast course because
Ooh,
podcasting exploded for me, and I get a
yeah.
ton of questions like, "How you do this? How you do that?" So I'm building a course and really just trying to take on more speaking roles, but with COVID. Conferences are down, but just that course for now. And really, I'm still struggling with consistency. What does that mean to be consistent in my business? I used to think I had to do 50, 11 things all the time, and I'm learning like that's not super sustainable. So, just focusing on that and just showing up more consistently. I had kind of let my confidence waver a little bit, and I've been kind of pulling back. So, I'm working on figuring out like what's going on there so I could really step it up and, see my vision through.
Yeah. Oh well, you there should be no reason why you are not confident. No one else views you
Thank
that way, so definitely you are
thank
you are
you.
doing amazing things. Keep
Oh,
showing
you
up when you want to.
Tatiana. Thank thank you. Oh, child.
Because I know you said some people be reaching out to you like, well, where the episode at? I'd be like, people got lives outside of just that podcast, outside of
Yo,
them posts on Instagram.
I have a podcast Navy. They will DM me, like it gets really intense, and I'll be like, "This was supposed to be just fun, y'all. Like, calm down." But I get it. I get it. I
Yeah, and
promise a weekly
that's
show.
good. That yeah, I mean that
Yeah,
definitely
it's a good
shows.
bounce
Yeah,
back. Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. They like fiending, like I need my episode. I need.
I know, child. I can't pour from no empty cup. Give me a week. Give me a week.
Oh
But
my
the same
gosh.
to you, Tatiana. You are shining. I love seeing you on Instagram. Every time I see you, I'm like, what's she doing now? I'm just watching, and I always just really grateful to see your work. So keep shining too, boo.
Thank you. Thank you. That means so much to me. Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. So that's pretty much the questions that I have for tonight. Do you have
Oh,
any like last piece of advice or just any kind of last point you want to give to everybody to kind of kick off the weekend with something positive
oh,
to
to kick
share?
off the weekend. Oh, say yes to you. If saying no feels wrong, then just say yes to what feels right for you at least this weekend. You could go back to people please and all that stuff on Monday, but Saturday and Sunday, think of something that you could really say yes to you, whether that's finally knitting or painting or doing nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with
Say
that.
that
Say
again.
say
Yes.
yes to you this weekend.
I love it, everybody. So say yes to yourself. Do something that
Yes.
you would love to do, make you happy. I recently came out with a box where I told people I was like, find the joy in your
Yeah.
day. Just start focusing on the joy. So much other stuff going on. What do you love? Focus on that. So,
Right. Right.
yes, I love that.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for joining me on
Thank
here.
you, Tatiana.
I hope
Thanks for
that,
having me.
of course, I hope that you guys get the books out and everything, and it's not too
Oh,
crazy,
thank you.
and you can rest. I'm sure that road trip in itself was tiring, and then you had to turn around and do the
Child, we
boxes.
got rerouted. It was a monsoon.
Oh
It
my
was just a mess,
gosh.
but God is good.
He is. He is. You were able to make it here, and I can tell everybody was so inspired by
Oh, thank
everything you
you.
had to say. There was like 10 quotes. I'm going to go back and write them all down so I can put them in my planner or something, refer back to them
Look, and y'all was inspiring too. I done wrote down a few tweets myself. Like,
later.
it's a good one.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, yep. Somebody quoting you again. Say yes to you. Yes,
Say
exactly, y'all.
yes
Say
to
yes
you.
to you.
That's right.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. Have a great
Okay, cool.
weekend. I will
Thank
definitely be
you.
following along.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll see y'all later. Thank you.
All right, everybody. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning into this series. It has been such an honor to talk to all these amazing women throughout this entire thing. And I really am just so grateful for this community. More to come soon. I want to thank Jessica one more time. And yeah, I will see you guys soon in the next one. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Yay. We did it.